Hey guys, it's Tractor Daddy. Sitting here with my buddy Tater. Decided to hide behind my bed at the moment. But just want to talk a little bit tonight about, the Massey Ferguson 4610 and some thoughts I had today on the way home. Uh, you know, like I said, I understand cold weather plays a big factor in a lot of things. And, it has in the past with other brands of tractors that we've owned. The tractor we had previous to the Massey Ferguson was a McCormick CX85, and yeah, you still had to plug it up in the wintertime because when it gets the cold, you'd have to, it's just too cold for it to start. So that's, like I said earlier in my video, plugging the tractor in to get it to start is understandable when it's as cold as it's getting here right now. I can only imagine what it's like for the guys who are farther north than I am, and Canada and things like that. If they had the tractor that I have, I doubt it would start once it starts getting cold for them. You know, there's no telling what it would take for, I can only imagine. Um, this morning, after having the tractor plugged in for a couple hours and then starting it up, letting it run for 20, 30 minutes, something like that. Once getting in the tractor, the Massey Fergusons have a lever that when you push the brake pedal down, you have to pull that lever up to, it locks the brake in place, and it also, the tractor won't start unless that lever is, engaged. So to deactivate it, you push down on the brake pedal. Well, when I push down on the brake pedal to deactivate this safety lever, the brake pedal stayed on the floor. Had to reach down and pull it up. Again, it's the first time that's happened, so I'm associating that with with the cold, but that's never happened in any other tractor we've ever had. Uh, so yeah, cold has some to do with it. However, it's quite a bit more than just being cold. Uh, I maybe used the tractor today for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, moving some rolls, moving them out of the driveway into the little lot that I keep them in. I think I moved 10 rolls or something like that out of the way. And the first half of that was third gear low range, simply because that's all it would do. Trying to change gears with the gear shifter, if you can imagine getting some of the thickest mud you can find or some really thick wet concrete or something and dragging a stick through it, that's what it felt like trying to change gears with the tractor. uh, and like I said, after moving 3 or 4 rolls, and I'm moving them 100 yards at a time from point A to point B would be maybe 100 yards. So after moving 3 or 4 rolls in third gear low range, I was able to get up to uh, sixth gear low range, which is still, in low range. It's when you're moving on flat ground in that area, it's still a little slow for what I was wanting to do. And like I said, it's cold, so trying to get this done as fast as I can. Um, Moved a couple like that, and then was finally able to shift into high range fifth gear and move 3 or 4 more. Like I said, I don't know exactly how many I moved, 10, 12, something like that. But any other time, if it was 70 degrees here, 60 degrees here, I could have started out in fifth gear. It takes it a minute, but, fifth gear high range, which would be first gear high range, I guess you would say. So, to get it into first gear high range today really took some doing, which just everything can't be associated to cold in this situation. I understand some of it is, yes, not everything though. So yeah, that's been my dealings with the tractor today. It's just typical everyday stuff at this point with it. Uh, Another little thing, I've said in my other videos that the dealership that we deal with, and everything has been good and everything, and the you know the old man had called and talked to the guy, the sales rep or manager. I'm not really sure what he is. He's just the guy we always deal with up there. Been a friend for years. He's a pretty good guy. Of course, he called to talk to him about the fact that they'd just done all this rear brake work and all this stuff 2 months ago at the most, and we just paid $650 in labor to have this done, and this and that, and here it is, the same exact problem with the binding of the tractor when you push the clutch in and the tractor brings itself to a stop without touching the brakes has returned and is only getting worse by the day. His response was, well, it sounds like it's time to trade it. Of course, he said that jokingly, and like I said, he's not a bad guy. I'm not going to sit here and say, what the hell are you? No, that's not what I'm saying. He's a good guy. And I think he's as frustrated with the tractor at this point as we are. But, like I've said before, the fact that is the topic of conversation with a tractor that has less than 2,200 hours on it. It's a 2014 model. The fact that the biggest and I guess most reasonable thing at this point with that tractor is to trade it is ridiculous. Our McCormick CX85, we traded it. It had around 5,000 some hours, less than 6,000 hours, and wore, for these newer tractors, it was wore out pretty well. And the thing to understand in our situation is we do a lot of traveling with the tractor during the summertime, back and forth between farms, things like that. We typically put up around anywhere in between 500 to 1,000 rolls of hay every summer. That, and then, like I said, that's just I know there's a big difference in there, but that's somewhere in that range is typically what we do. And a lot of times if it's just me or something like that, the main tractor, which at this point is the Massey 4610, I'll mow with it, and then if there's nobody to help or the old man can't or whatever, because the old man, he's 89 years old, so he's getting hard for him to get around, and he still gets out and does this with me every day, but like I said, he's getting to where he can't get around very well, things like that. So if it's just me or it's just him or something like that, we'll mow with the tractor, and then we'll turn around and we'll rake the hay with the tractor, then we'll turn around and we'll roll it. So the tractor gets used a lot, and therein lies the reason as to why we have a 2014 model with 21. I think it was like 2117 last time I've done a video or something like that. So it's 2120, something like that. That's why we have that many hours on our tractor, and because we use it for what it was made. It was a tractor, that's what we use it for. And we use it a lot. In the wintertime, the tractor gets used every day to get to the back of the farm, things like that. Which brings up another point, is I was watching Attitude Adjusters videos a while ago, Gary Herbert's, and he was demonstrating his tractor going up, a slight incline there and how it was bogging down. If he put his tractor on a boat and brought it over here to our farm, there's not a single job that man could do on our farm with his tractor. Just going up our driveway to get back to where the cattle are and the things like that back on the farm, his tractor'd never make it. If it won't pull the little hills that he was, demonstrating, Why, that tractor, there wouldn't even be no sense in unloading it at our place. The driveway to get, or the road to get back on the farm, we're talking 20% grade, very steep, to the fact of if it rains very hard, it washes a foot wash down the middle of the road. We've replaced that road 30 times. It's just we have a very steep property here in Kentucky. You know, kind of hilly. The old joke around here, cows got to have two legs longer than the other to be on to be on anybody's property around here, because that's just how it is. It's steep in places. So, but yeah, after watching his videos, that tractor he's got wouldn't even he would be able to mow the yard around here with that tractor. Thank God ours hasn't had the power loss that his has, because if it did, it would be useless to us. Ours is having a lot of the same problems other than the power loss, and like I said, thank God for that, because if that was the case, there's a certain creek people get up sometimes without a paddle, and Lord God, if we had Gary's tractor, we wouldn't have a paddle, a boat, or nothing. But so it's just amazing that and there's guys saying, "Oh, you're doing this just to be doing it." No. Well, in my case, I can sit here and tell you, if you think I'm just making these videos to be on Gary's side or to be Gary's buddy or whatever, me and Gary live thousands and thousands of miles away from each other. He's in Australia, I'm in Kentucky. So, the only reason me and him even conversated is because of our common problem with this tractor, and that's how I wound up meeting him, was through the internet. And and like I said, we both have the same issues with the same series of tractor, and so I'm not doing it just because Gary's doing it. I'm not doing it because it's we're buddies and this and that. That has nothing to do with it. I'm damn sure not doing it for money, because like I said, YouTube don't pay me a thing, and Massey Ferguson sure isn't paying nothing. And nothing like that. It's just a matter of getting the word out there, and if something comes of it, it does. That great, especially if it comes of it for myself or for Attitude Adjuster, whoever, that's great. The bigger concern to me is the fact that AGCO and Massey Ferguson need to step up and recognize that they have a lethally defective product on the market right now that numerous people have bought. Numerous people are having issues when other dealerships will not accept your tractor on trade because of knowing the defects that are associated with this series of tractor. That says a lot. The fact that, yeah, I'm sure somebody asked earlier, well, have you considered trading it for a 5600 or 6600 or 5700, whatever, bigger, larger series, different, newer Massey Ferguson? No is the honest answer, because I'm not saying every tractor Massey Ferguson makes is bad. I'm not saying every piece of equipment they make is bad. But what I will say is, at this point, and with the problems that we've had with this tractor, it has definitely put a sour taste in our mouth as far as Massey Ferguson is concerned, and I have not the least bit of interest in trading for another Massey Ferguson tractor. Now, if Massey or AGCO wants to show up and say, here, we're going to take your tractor because it's had so many problems, here's a brand new one to replace it with, that might work, but simply because that would be a brand new tractor to take and trade for something else. There will not be, no, I'm sorry, just can't do it. And I know there's loyal Massey Ferguson fans out there, and by all rights, you should be, because, yes, they do make some fine products, or did make, I should say. The older Masseys, things like that. I know a lot of guys that have them, know a lot of guys that love them. I'm not saying there's a thing wrong with them. It's these new ones. The 4600 series in particular, I can speak firsthand, personal knowledge, is just a disaster of a series of tractor. And, as far as the skeptics go, saying, oh, you're just, people are just doing this, y'all are just saying this, blah, blah, blah. I'll tell you what, I am more than happy. Leave me a comment in the video, say, hey, I think you're just full of it, whatever. I'll get back to you. I'll send, we'll communicate, and we'll if you want to, we'll set it up. You're welcome to come, anybody, come right on down here that thinks that we're just saying this stuff, that these tractors, or that, well, mine, I can't speak for Gary's, but my tractor, if you think I'm just saying this and that these, just trying to do whatever, that this really isn't happening, that we're just making this stuff up, leave me a comment. We'll get in touch. You're more than welcome to come right on down here to Kentucky, walk your butt right out there and get in the tractor and experience it for yourself. I have no qualms about that. You're more than welcome. Any skeptic that says that, oh, it's just, you're more welcome to come right on down and try it for yourself. Now, am I saying that we could go get 10 Massey Ferguson 4610s, put them side by side, and every one of them is going to have the same problem? No, but I guarantee you several of them will. Am I saying there won't be a single good one? No. But it'll be iffy. It's just a bad situation with these tractors, and then how AGCO and Massey Ferguson has chosen to handle the situation with these tractors, because, and it goes back to the dealership. Yes, Gary's had a lot of problems with the dealership that he's deals with. The dealership that I deal with, anytime any problem arises with this tractor, they're the ones fixing it. They're the ones that do the labor. They do the work, this and that. But it's the Massey Ferguson representative for this area. I don't know what you would call him. All I know is he's a Massey rep, is what they call him. And he's the one that comes to their shop and says, yes, this is what's wrong with it. This is what needs replaced. This is what you can do about it, blah, blah, blah. So really and truly, you can't put it on the dealership as the fact that, but it's all on that Massey rep. The dealership up there, maybe they sold a defective product, so put that on them, what have you. But when it comes to fixing it and what they've tried to do with our tractor and, what has been done with it, it's not the dealership, it's Massey Ferguson and their representative for this area that says, this is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to do it. This is what parts we're waiting on. So therein lies the problem with that. I have a hard time believing that there's nothing that can be done about these tractors. Like Gary, attitude adjusters, made it clear that he's just not going to pay for it anymore. Well, like I said, we don't have that option because ours is paid for, which doesn't say nothing bad, or I'm not saying anything bad about attitude adjuster. I don't think he should pay for it. Believe me, if ours wasn't paid for, it wouldn't be getting paid for either, because It's just, when it comes, that's just how the old man likes to do things. He doesn't like to have a payment, I guess. So, it's just what he's always been. After he got to where he could afford to not have that payment, he just doesn't want to anymore. Which, whatever. But, when you go and spend that kind of money on a tractor and you're told this is what it does, this is what it's going to do, this is what it's going to be, and then it starts to mess up. Okay, and you go through this and you go through that, and now with our tractor, like I said, they're putting experimental parts on it. An experimental shuttle adjustment. This is going to solve the problem. Okay, if it does, that's great. It's not. The experimental part has not solved the problem. But the thing with that, we didn't buy an experimental tractor. If they want to experiment and put experimental parts on it, more power to them. However, take the tractor, replace it, then experiment with it. Don't experiment. Or, if you want an experimental tractor and you want real hand experience with it, you want to see if it works on the farm and blah, 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 that's fine too. I'll experiment it for you. But we didn't buy an experimental tractor. Make it so we have a tractor that actually works, that's not being experimented on, and then sure, I'll keep the one and experiment all you want, if that's what you want. But, that right there is just ridiculous, to be putting experimental part. Come and get it, replace it, then put all the experimental parts on that you want. That's all, and that's really all there is to say about that. I don't know anybody that would be perfectly okay with this. Well, we're going to experiment with this, and we're going to experiment with that, and if that works, it does. No, it's not how this game works. Experiment with it elsewhere, not on the farm. Or, like I said, make it so there's not an experimental tractor, and leave the experimental one if that's what you want to do, but take it elsewhere. Experiment, be the best thing. So, that's what it boils down to. I am going to do some videos of, like with what our tractor's doing and things like that. I don't mind a bit to demonstrate it. But I'm just not doing it right now. It's too cold. I don't want to, and with the weather the way it is, that just puts that extra amount of stress on the tractor, which in turn gives skeptics oh, well, it was just because it was cold. I'll take some videos of what it does right now, but once it warms up to where, it's not ridiculous out there, well, then I'll gladly, if the tractor lasts that long, I'll take whatever video anybody wants. So I think that's how we're going to do this. I'm going to put videos up, going to put videos of the tractor. Just going to keep talking about it because it needs to get out there. Everybody needs to be aware. Anybody that would be considering buying a Massey Ferguson product needs to be aware about the fact that these problems have been an ongoing issue. Yes, there is problem. You could go buy a brand new one today and have problems tomorrow of any brand, not just Massey Ferguson. I will say any brand. That's just the nature of the game. Be it a vehicle, be it a tractor, be it what have you, a TV, anything. You could go buy a brand new anything today, and yes, you might have problems with it. The rest of that, the big difference here, though, is if you go buy a brand new TV and it don't work, guess what? They give you a new one. You go buy a brand new car and it don't work, well, guess what? They make it right. They fix it. Or, if they can't, after 3 times, I believe is what it is, you get a new one. With the tractor, no such luck. It's just ongoing, nonstop. So, we're going to keep fighting it. We're going to keep doing what we can do, trying not to freeze to death at the moment. So, that's how it goes around here. But y'all, like I said, thanks for watching the videos. If you don't mind, subscribe if you haven't already. I'd appreciate it. And and get the word out there. Tell people, hey, watch Attitude Adjuster. Watch, watch Tractor Daddy. There's some other guys that, I can't think of their names. While I'm thinking of it, I watched a video the other day. A guy did a 4610 review, and was saying that it would be a great tractor for if you're 80 years old and your dad's 80 and he wants a simple tractor that is that this Massey Ferguson 4610 would be the perfect tractor for that and this and that. And I can't remember the guy's name that did the video, but I will say that is not true, because the old man is 89 and it is not the perfect tractor for him. So to say that a Massey Ferguson 4610 is the perfect tractor for an 80-year-old man, nope. I can debunk that one, because like I said, the old man is 89 and it is not the perfect tractor for him. I really hope to get him to do some videos with me. He's all about the videos being made and this and that, and he actually told me today, well, we ought to put a picture on the internet and see if we can't sell that thing, but we'd have to put a big sign in front of it that says junk first. I wouldn't feel right selling it to nobody if I didn't tell them it was junk. So he's not real sure what, obviously doesn't know what YouTube is or any of that, but he does know there's a thing called the internet and that we can put pictures on there. So, yeah, no, Massey Ferguson 4610 is not a great tractor for an 80-year-old man. I can tell you that firsthand. So anyways, like I said, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe if you don't mind. Get over there and check out Attitude Adjuster. He just put up a ton of new videos demonstrating these problems that we're having. There's some other guys, he can name them, he's that are doing the same videos, things like that. And you guys be safe out there. Have a good evening. Bye.